Anime and manga are being banned? It's time for the latest news out of Japan. Imagine being put in handcuffs and taken to prison because you were watching an episode of Bleach or One Piece. Well, that might become the life of anime fans in Texas. A newly passed bill in Texas has raised concerns about its potential impact on anime, manga, and related media. Senate Bill 20, recently approved by the Texas Senate, aims to criminalize the possession and distribution of obscene materials depicting minors, including AI-generated content, cartoons, and animations. While the bill is primarily focused on combating AI-generated CP, its broad language has sparked fears that it could extend to many forms of anime and manga, potentially leading to severe consequences for fans and collectors. The bill amends the Texas Penal Code to include visual material that appears to depict minors in obscene ways. This means that even if a character is entirely fictional and not based on a real person, owning or sharing content featuring them in questionable content could be considered a felony. The law states that any material deemed to lack serious literary, artistic, political, or scientific value could be classified as obscene. However, determining what has artistic value is highly subjective, making the bill's application uncertain. The anime and manga industry features many works that depict high school age characters or fantastical beings with useful appearances in suggestive ways. Popular titles such as Persona 5, Kill la Kill, Bleach, and Monogatari contain characters who, while fictional, could fall under the law's broad scope. Persona 5, for instance, includes dating mechanics involving teenage characters, while Kill la Kill features designs and themes that could be misinterpreted as obscene under the new legislation. Even long-established franchises like Dragon Ball and Naruto contain scenes that, though comedic or stylized, might be scrutinized under this law. Given the bill's wording, these titles and others like them could face restrictions in Texas. The vagueness of the bill means that law enforcement and courts will have significant discretion in deciding what constitutes obscene content. While the intent of the bill is to protect minors from exploitation, there's concern that its enforcement could lead to unintended consequences. If prosecutors take a strict approach, it could mean that simply owning or sharing certain anime, manga, or video games could result in criminal charges. Fans and collectors might find themselves at risk for possessing content that was never intended to be illegal or harmful. The fear of potential legal action could also deter people from engaging with the medium altogether. The bill has received unanimous support in the Texas Senate, which shows the strong political push behind it. Proponents argue that it is necessary to close legal loopholes that allow AI-generated child pornography to exist. They believe that advances in artificial intelligence have made it easier than ever to create harmful materials, making the law a crucial step in protecting children. Lawmakers have emphasized that this type of content, regardless of its medium, can be used to groom and exploit real children, and they see the bill as a preventive measure against such crimes. However, critics argue that it fails to differentiate between genuinely harmful material and creative works that may include mature themes but are not intended to be exploitative. Despite these intentions, the inclusion of cartoons and animations in the bill's language is causing alarm. Unlike real-life photography, which has clear legal definitions regarding child exploitation, animated content exists in a more ambiguous space. Many anime series explore mature themes or feature exaggerated depictions of characters that do not correspond to real-life minors. Some fear that the bill's broad language could lead to excessive censorship or even the banning of widely recognized works. The possibility of legal action against individuals for possessing or distributing popular anime or manga raises serious concerns about creative freedom and expression. Legal experts point out that obscenity laws in the United States have historically been difficult to enforce due to their subjective nature. The Supreme Court has ruled that material must be judged based on community standards, making what what is considered obscene vary from place to place. In Texas, where conservative values influence policymaking, the interpretation of this law could be stricter than in other states. This increases uncertainty for anime fans, content creators, and distributors who operate in or ship products to Texas. Additionally, given the increasing scrutiny on anime and manga in Western markets, Texas could set a precedent for other states to introduce similar legislation. One of the biggest concerns is how the law could impact retailers and streaming services. Companies that sell or distribute anime and manga may become hesitant to offer certain titles if they fear legal repercussions. This could lead to some series being pulled from shelves or streaming platforms, limiting access to content that has been available for years. Even if major franchises like Dragon Ball or Naruto are not directly affected, the law could set a precedent that makes it easier to target less mainstream titles. If left unchecked, this could have a chilling effect on the industry, with companies opting to self-censor rather than risk potential lawsuits. The fear of legal action may even discourage publishers from localizing or distributing certain anime and manga in the United States altogether. The bill is still making its way through the legislative process, and there is a chance that amendments or clarifications could be made before it becomes law. However, given the unanimous support it has received so far, changes may be unlikely. If the bill is signed into law without clearer guidelines, it could open the door to legal battles that shape how anime and manga are perceived and regulated in Texas. The enforcement of the bill could also set a precedent for broader restrictions on animated content in the US, particularly in states that share Texas's conservative legal stance. For now, fans and industry professionals are watching closely to see how the law will be enforced. Advocacy groups may challenge it in court, arguing that its broad language infringes on artistic freedom and free speech. Until then, uncertainty remains about which titles could be at risk and how far the law will go in restricting access to certain types of content. If challenges to the law are unsuccessful, Texas may become one of the first states to impose significant legal consequences for possessing or distributing anime and manga that falls under this broad categorization. Texas Senate Bill 20 has set off alarm bells within the anime and manga community due to its vague wording and potential implications. While its primary goal is to curb AI-generated child pornography, the inclusion of cartoons and animations within its scope has created widespread concern. As the bill moves forward, its enforcement could determine whether anime remains widely accessible in Texas or faces new legal challenges that reshape the industry. Fans, retailers, and content creators will need to stay informed and prepared for the possible impact of this legislation. If it passes without further clarification, the future of anime and manga in Texas could be at risk. And eventually, it might extend beyond the state's borders. This whole thing seems scary for anime fans, but it's actually hilarious that some fans are actually in total support of this new bill and its implications. Some are even calling it the first good thing Texas senators have done in years. In the words of a fan, only one group is panicking over this, and it's not the innocent ones. They're calling this the 9/11 for lolicons. And yes, it is a good thing to stand against the abuse and sexualization of minors, but this case is much more serious as it threatens the very existence of anime within the state of Texas. Because of that, several fans have expressed their lack of support and disdain for this political move. One fan said, "I'm not even American, and I still speak against this because I generally think jailing anyone over fiction is inhuman and wrong. And from a pragmatic perspective, it's a waste of resources." Many are confident that this new bill in Texas won't be passed into law and that it'll be dismissed as being unconstitutional, like other similar cases that have happened in the past. The vagueness of the bill does indeed make it a slippery slope, and a fan called this out, saying, "Highly doubt this will make it into law. Way too loosely worded." Same problem the Protect Act had. You can't control what people draw. Preventing people from making drawn material of real children is one thing. Preventing artists to express themselves through purely fictional content is another. This would make Romeo and Juliet illegal in Texas. Think about how stupid that sounds. Emotions are indeed running high due to this bill, as anime fans in Texas are now scared of losing their right to access their favorite anime shows and even their favorite Western animation such as Avatar: The Last Airbender. For now, now, let's hope this bill either gets scrapped or refined in a way that makes it less of a threat to the anime fandom in Texas. In other news, Pokemon did a time skip?